An unexamined life is a life not worth living. That's a quote by Socrates. And with reflecting upon that quote, which has aided me throughout, my healing journey, because it's an everlasting journey. In all honesty, you are never truly, wholeheartedly, 100% healed. This is a lifetime thing, experience. And with reflecting upon that, quote, it's caused me to reflect upon my life, as I, stated in previous videos and all of the above. And man, I've come to the realization in the ways in which, I have hindered myself, all of the ways in which, I have kept myself stagnant, kept myself small. My fault and my fault alone, despite, the programming that was instilled within me as a child and all of the above. At the end of the day, there is no excuse, because at some point in time throughout my life, I had to step up to the plate and understand that I am truly in control of me and my life, especially once I became an adult. Nobody has control over me. Nobody can dictate my life. Nobody can tell me how to live or lead my life if it's not in accordance to, one, God's divine will and his plan for me and my life. But if it doesn't align with me and my soul, then why am I conforming to the beliefs of society or anyone outside of myself in telling me how I should go about leading my life? It just doesn't make sense, in all honesty, and it doesn't, resonate with my soul, yet alone it doesn't allow me to lead or live my life in an authentic fashion. So with coming to that understanding, after reflecting on my life, I've been able to, figure out what it was that was honestly blocking me and keeping me from moving forward within my life, in all honesty. And so since coming to these realizations, I've been reprogramming my mind. I've been, working hard to better myself in all ways, shapes, and forms. I've been doing what I needs to do in order for me to get to where it is that I'm trying to get to in life. And I say that because, I don't choose to point the finger, place the blame on no one in no regards regarding why I'm not where I want to be at in life. In no way, shape, or form do I blame anyone, because at the end of the day, though others may have had a role to play, I allowed such things to take place simply because I was in fear, or I was naive and didn't know no better. I didn't understand. And now that I do, I can make that conscious decision to make that change for the better whenever it comes to me in my life. And one of the greatest things that could have ever, have happened to me was me honestly separating and parting ways with the mother of my child, in all honesty, simply because, I was losing myself. I was becoming someone that I wasn't, to the point to where I just wasn't fulfilled, in all honesty, because I was too busy attempting to try and buy an individual's love, to see my worth, to treat me as if, I was worthy enough to be a part of something that I knew deep down within my heart that wasn't going to be forever, And I'm truly thankful and blessed that, God gave me a little girl out of the whole ordeal, and it saddens me and it hurts my heart, sometimes whenever I sit back and I reminisce on the old days, and, I think about the memories, the good memories, and, I miss my daughter. It hurts to not be in her life, but I mean, at the end of the day, the path that it was leading me down, it was not aiding into my growth in no way, shape, or form. More than anything, all it was doing was adding to my demise at a rapid rate that I was unconsciously aware of, in all honesty, due to me, not only overgiving within my relationship, but, overgiving of myself in regards to the attempts to try and provide for my child. And it took for me to honestly be removed from that situation to come to that understanding, simply because, I love my daughter more than anything on this earth, outside of myself and, God. But I would have done any and everything for my child. And knowing that now, I can see that I was on the verge of potentially going bankrupt, in all honesty, because I was too busy putting on a facade, pretending as if I was trying to live like the Joneses, knowing damn well that I just wasn't there financially, But I understood as a man that, in order to honestly be considered a man based upon the teachings that were instilled within us as children growing up, that, hey, as being a man, you have to provide, you have to protect, you have to lead and do all of these things. And in all honesty, I truly didn't mind doing such things, but it really wasn't appreciated in regards to the things that I was doing, and the ways that I attempted to show up, and the ways that I was attempting to try and grow up and mature and to be that man that God created me to be, in all honesty. And so, with God removing me from that situation and aiding in my process of this healing journey, I've been more at peace with being in separation from my daughter for the duration of time that we've been separated. And still, looking back, I wouldn't have it no other way, because, in the beginning, I didn't understand it. Upon the separation, I didn't understand it, though, it was a decision that was best for both parties. I didn't understand it, and it hurt traumatically. It had a profound impact on me in my life, in all honesty. And, I was continuously attempting to try and, mend fences and make things right, and to remain a present, active father in my daughter's life, as well as attempting to be a provider for not only, my household, but, for the sake of my daughter, attempting to try and provide for her, simply because that's what we were taught is the right way. That is what we're supposed to do as men. And that put me in even more of a financial bind, to the point to where, man, I honestly went homeless. I was living out of my vehicle for a whole year. I didn't let it break me in no way, shape, or form. At first, I was ashamed, because at one point in time, I had it all, or at least I felt as if I had it all. But I became homeless. I was sleeping out of my car. I still got up and went to work every single day. I went to the gym, 4 or 5 days a week, just to go and take me a shower. You never would have known that I was homeless if I wouldn't have, voiced it and let individuals know. But I didn't let it break me. I still showed up every single day, whether it was to school when I was in college, as well as to work every single day. I still showed up and I tried to do my part as best as I could with a smile on my face and a positive attitude. Even after going to court twice in the pursuit of justice, just trying to, get some type of fair treatment regarding my situation. And though, it didn't work out in my favor, I still did not let that break me, nor get me down and out to the point to where I stopped showing up for myself. If anything, all that really did was, gave me that fuel to that fire to, lace those boots up and, continue forging on within my life. Because just because I was facing some type of trial and tribulation, that didn't mean that the world stopped spinning. And it took me a while to understand that and see that. But once I did, it was like, man, hey, you know what? I can't let this, get the best of me. I'm better than that. I'm stronger than that. So I had to work through the pain. I had to process it, to understand it, to get to know it, and then move forward with my life in a positive fashion to where I could turn around and manifest the things into fruition that I desired for me in my life through planting those seeds of positivity, only for it to bloom at some point in time whenever the time was right. And so after dealing with, the struggles of being homeless and, turning around soon after, my vehicle got repossessed. Luckily, by that time it got repossessed, I ended up getting me an apartment. But then I had came to the realization that, man, you know what? I can no longer remain in this state, in this environment where I've done as much healing as I possibly could. I can no longer attempt to continue living in this state or in this environment around these people. It's not beneficial to my healing process, because this place, this environment, it tried so hard to break me down, to keep me down. There's only but so much healing that I could do here. And I've done all the healing that I can do within this state, within this environment. So not even 2-3 months of me gaining my apartment where I was at, I was like, man, you know what? It's time for me to make a change. And I got up out of there with the little bit of funds that I had and the helping hand of a friend. I was able to get on up out of there and move to a different state and start over. And upon starting over, it was something I battled with, for a period of time, because I didn't have a job lined up. I was limited on funds. I didn't really have a stable place that I was honestly going to. I just knew that I wanted to get out of there, that I needed to get out of there so that I could continue on my path to healing, bettering myself, as well as rebuilding. So I took that leap of faith, whether it was impulsive, whether it was planned out, whether it was the right thing to do or not. It was what was necessary for the progression of my healing journey. And so I did that. I took that leap of faith and I trusted in God, and I followed suit on the direction in which He was leading me. And upon doing so, things were kind of rocky, in the beginning. But afterwards, after some time, things began to smooth out. Slow and steady wins the race. I was able to remove myself from energies that did not align with my heart, my soul, and the vision that I have for me in my life. And I had to part ways from that situation as well to put myself in a more stable situation energetically as well as mentally. And upon doing so, things have begun to unfold in a positive fashion for me. I mean, it's not the best, or it's not my destination in which, I see myself, but it's a stepping stone, to leave a stable situation financially to going elsewhere, having less than what I originally had, to being happy and content with the little bit that I have compared to that. And though I'm not where I want to be at just yet, I am content and I am happy, simply because in doing so, I've been able to reach a level of peace within my life, as well as happiness. And I can't say that at first I wasn't scared. Restarting, rebuilding, starting over, however you want to put it, it truly is scary, especially when you're going at it alone. Whenever you have to do every single thing alone, it truly is scary, but sometimes it's necessary, so you can honestly see the type of person that you are, so you can see the resilience, the fortitude, the strength that you have as a person, because it builds character, and it truly and honestly shows who you are on a soul level as a person, regarding how you choose to react and carry yourself throughout these different trials and tribulations. And in doing so, man, like I said, it wasn't really the best going from one state to the next state, leaving one household, to being out here on my own, in my own, little world. I had to figure out a way to somewhat become financially stable for myself, get me a place that I could afford, figure out how I could turn around and, get me a vehicle to get me from A to B. How can I go about, making sure I could keep my hair done whenever, I choose to want to get it done. And originally, at one point in time throughout one of the videos, I stated I didn't have a safe space. And since making that video, I turned around and I said, you know what? I'm going to make it happen. And I created that safe space for myself within a matter of days, simply because there's no such things as excuses when it comes to me at all, in no way, shape, or form. I will figure out whatever it is that needs to be done in order for me to obtain what it is that I want to obtain, whatever it is that I desire for me and myself. I was able to put forth that time, effort, and energy into manifesting into fruition what it was that I desired. And in doing so, upon doing so, I'm that much closer to achieving my goals. In all honesty, I'm that much more closer. And I'm that much more happier. And the choices and decisions I have made that have led me up to where I am right now, today, in this present moment. And the only reason as to why, I'm speaking and sharing any of this is because a lot of people out there tend to experience the trials and the tribulations, and they begin to be ashamed of their truth, their story, their testimony. And they sit back and, they look at other people's lives and be like, man, I want that. I want what they got. I want that. I want that house. I want that car. I want that relationship. I want that family. But in all honesty, you truly don't know what those individuals had to go through to get those things, to have that family, yet alone that life. You truly don't know what goes on behind closed doors where you can't see what actually does transpire pertaining to that life. Simply because when people are out in public, a lot of individuals tend to put on a facade. So, if anything, be happy for the life that you have, in all honesty, and begin to look at your trials and tribulations as building blocks, because all it is doing is building you up. They're just stepping stones, aiding you in the process of creating you to be the man or woman that God created you to be, in all honesty. So, have pride in whatever situation it is that you go through. Cherish, the moments that you have with those loved individuals, and take those good memories with you as you move forward in life, if there's ever an ending. But know that whenever there is an ending, all it is a opening for a new beginning. So don't let that ending get the best of you, because you never truly know what God has in store for you. But you will never know if you're not willing to take that leap of faith and to make that sacrifice and to let those things go that you are holding on to for dear life. You'll never know exactly what it is that God has for you if you don't let it go. Because for all you know, in all honesty, what he has for you is 10 times better than what it is you think you're losing or leaving. But you will never know simply because of fear. And I know, it's a lot easier said than done. And hearing these words can either bring about a level of fear or bring about a sensation of inspiration. But whatever sensation that it brings you, just know that no matter what decision or what choice you decide to make, there is no wrong choice regarding whatever it is that you choose to do pertaining to you and your life. There is no wrong choice at all, in no way, shape, or form. But know that whatever it is that you do decide, when it comes to the decisions that you make, that there are consequences, repercussions, and or rewards. And they do impact other individuals around you. So sometimes you do have to be logical. But then again, sometimes when it comes to your happiness and your fulfillment, you have to follow your heart. But only you can make the best decision for you and your life pertaining to the situations that you are going through at that point in time. So no matter whatever decision it is that you make, no matter whatever choice, no matter what path you choose to go down, don't ever let anybody attempt to get you discouraged and making you feel as if, you're a fool for making such choices, because you're not. In no way, shape, or form are you. Only you know what's right and what's best for you and your life. So live it and lead it in an authentic fashion. Y'all stay blessed. Love and light.